In the remote expanse of Siberia, where the biting cold and harsh winds create an unforgiving landscape, a team of archaeologists gathered for what was meant to be a routine excavation. The region was steeped in legends of ancient civilizations that once thrived in this frozen wasteland, hidden beneath layers of ice and snow. As the team leader, I had spent years studying the area, poring over data and maps, convinced that we were on the brink of a significant discovery. Our expedition began in early spring, when the frost began to thaw, revealing fragments of history long buried. We set up our camp near the banks of the Lena River, surrounded by towering pines that swayed gently in the wind. The camaraderie among the team was palpable. We were a mix of seasoned archaeologists and enthusiastic students, all eager to uncover the mysteries that lay beneath our feet. As we began our work, we unearthed pottery shards, primitive tools, and remnants of what appeared to be ancient dwellings. Each find was exciting, but it was our third week on site when we stumbled upon something truly extraordinary. During a routine dig, one of our interns, Alex, called out excitedly, pointing to a large, uneven mound of earth. Curiosity piqued. We gathered around, and as we began to excavate further, what we found left us breathless. Beneath the surface lay a massive stone edifice, its structure unlike anything we had encountered in our previous digs. The stones were intricately carved, adorned with unfamiliar symbols that glimmered even in the muted sunlight. It was as if we had uncovered a portal to another world, a remnant of a civilization that had harnessed knowledge and technology far beyond our own. The air crackled with an electric energy, and I felt a mixture of exhilaration and trepidation. But as we delved deeper, strange occurrences began to unfold. Equipment malfunctioned, strange noises echoed through the night, and an inexplicable sense of dread settled over the camp. The team's mood shifted from excitement to unease, and I found myself torn between the thrill of discovery and the haunting feeling that we had awakened something better left undisturbed. We decided to document our findings meticulously, but the more we unearthed, the more questions arose. What had happened to the civilization that created this structure? Why had they disappeared? Each answer seemed to lead to deeper mysteries, and I felt the weight of responsibility growing heavier on my shoulders. As the days progressed, I realized that our expedition was no longer just about archaeology. It was a race against time to understand what we had found before it consumed us. The shadows of the past loomed larger with each passing moment, and I knew that the answers we sought might come at a terrifying cost. Among our diverse team, each member brought unique perspectives and skills, but none were more notable than Elena, our lead historian. With a deep passion for ancient cultures, her knowledge was extensive and her enthusiasm infectious. She often spent hours poring over texts, eager to connect our findings to historical narratives. Her fascination with the unknown often led her to draw parallels between our discovery and myths of ancient civilizations, particularly those believed to have harnessed extraordinary powers. Alex, the eager intern, was a brilliant young mind, driven by the dream of making a groundbreaking discovery. He idolized our work and often sought advice from the more seasoned members. His excitement was a double-edged sword, as it sometimes blinded him to the dangers lurking beneath the surface of our findings. His youthful optimism was infectious. Yet, it also raised an underlying tension within the team, especially when darker elements began to emerge. Then there was Marcus, our field engineer, whose skepticism often clashed with the rest of the team's enthusiasm. While others dreamed of historical revelations, he focused on the practical implications of our work, reminding us of the harsh realities of the Siberian wilderness. His pragmatic approach served as a grounding force, yet his cynicism sometimes put him at odds with Elena and Alex, creating a palpable tension that simmered beneath our collaborative efforts. As we continued our excavation and unearthed the stone structure, the dynamics within the team shifted. The initial thrill of discovery gave way to unease, and the once strong bonds began to fray. It became clear that the deeper we dug, the more we would have to confront not only the mysteries of the past, but also the complexities of our relationships with one another. As our excavation progressed, the unease among the team grew palpable. Strange occurrences became more frequent, equipment malfunctioned unexpectedly, and the temperature seemed to drop inexplicably around the stone structure. One night, as we gathered around the fire to discuss our findings, a sudden gust of wind swept through the camp, extinguishing our flames and plunging us into darkness. We felt an ominous presence, as if the very land we stood on was alive, watching us. Elena, ever the optimist, suggested we delve into the inscriptions we had uncovered on the stones. These symbols could provide insight into who built this place, she argued, her eyes gleaming with determination. But as the night wore on, I noticed that her enthusiasm began to wane, replaced by an unsettling sense of apprehension. Meanwhile, Marcus voiced his concerns more vehemently. We need to leave this place. Whatever we've disturbed is not something we understand, he insisted, his voice rising above the crackling of the fire. Tension crackled in the air, and I found myself caught between the two sides. I understood Marcus's fears, but I also felt the weight of our discovery pressing down on me. We were on the brink of uncovering something monumental, yet I wondered at what cost. The following day, as we gathered to analyze the symbols, a violent storm rolled in, forcing us to seek shelter inside the stone structure. As we huddled together, the atmosphere turned electric, charged with fear and uncertainty. The walls seemed to pulse around us, and I could have sworn I heard whispers echoing through the chamber. With each passing hour, the conflict escalated. Alex, driven by a desire to prove himself, insisted on pushing forward, while Marcus urged caution. The rift between the two grew, threatening to fracture the team entirely. I felt the weight of leadership pressing on my shoulders as I tried to mediate, but every attempt only seemed to exacerbate the tension. As the storm raged outside, the situation reached a boiling point. Alex, desperate to prove his worth, proposed an audacious plan to activate the strange device we had found within the chamber, believing it could unlock the secrets of the civilization we had uncovered. Marcus vehemently opposed the idea, insisting it was too dangerous. In that moment, I realized that our expedition had transformed into a battle not only against the unknown, but also against ourselves. The deeper we delved into the mysteries of the past, the more we risked losing our unity and possibly our lives in the process. The conflict was no longer just about the discovery. It had become a struggle for survival, both physically and psychologically, as we faced the darkness that lay ahead. As tensions mounted within our team, subplots began to unfold, adding layers of complexity to our already precarious situation. One notable subplot revolved around Elena's growing obsession with the ancient civilization we had uncovered. Her drive to understand the inscriptions and artifacts intensified, often leading her to spend long hours alone in the chamber. I noticed her becoming increasingly withdrawn, as if the weight of the secrets we were unearthing was pulling her deeper into a world that blurred the lines between history and mythology. Elena's fixation soon sparked a rift with Alex, who idolized her and sought her approval. He felt sidelined, believing his contributions were overlooked. His frustration simmered beneath the surface, and it began to manifest in reckless behavior, particularly during our excavations. He would often rush into uncharted areas of the structure, dismissing safety protocols in his eagerness to impress Elena, leading to dangerous close calls. Simultaneously, Marcus's skepticism morphed into a sense of foreboding. He started conducting his own research, uncovering historical accounts of similar discoveries that ended in disaster expeditions that had vanished without a trace. He began to share these accounts with the team, warning of the dangers we faced. While some dismissed his concerns, others began to feel the creeping dread that Marcus had articulated. These intertwining subplots created a volatile atmosphere. The personal stakes were rising, and as each member wrestled with their motivations and fears, it became clear that our mission was unraveling. The deeper we delved into the mystery, the more the past threatened to consume not just our expedition, but our very identities. The turning point arrived during a particularly stormy night, as the winds howled outside, whipping snow against the walls of the ancient structure. The atmosphere in our makeshift camp was tense, each member grappling with their own fears and frustrations. I could sense the impending confrontation. Our differences had reached a boiling point after a heated argument between Alex and Marcus. The team was divided. Alex insisted on activating the mysterious device we had unearthed, convinced it held the key to understanding the civilization. It's our chance to unlock secrets that have been hidden for centuries, he argued passionately. Marcus, however, was adamant against it, his voice rising in alarm. You don't understand the risks. We could be unleashing something we can't control. As their voices echoed through the chamber, I felt the weight of their conflict pressing down on me. I knew I needed to intervene before it escalated into chaos. We need to find a compromise, I urged, but the room was thick with tension, and my words barely cut through the storm outside. Then, in the midst of the argument, the lights flickered ominously, and the ground beneath us trembled. A low rumble, as if the very structure was awakening, reverberated through the air. The moment felt surreal. It was as if the stones themselves were responding to our discord, mirroring the turmoil within our group. Suddenly, the device began to hum, its surface glowing with an otherworldly light. The energy pulsed rhythmically, captivating everyone's attention. In that instant, the conflict shifted from a personal battle to a collective fight for survival. We need to figure out what this does together, I shouted, rallying the team. We gathered around the device, fear and curiosity intertwining. The room felt charged with potential, and for a moment, our differences faded. We were united by a sense of purpose, ready to confront whatever lay ahead. As we activated the device, a surge of energy coursed through the chamber, illuminating the ancient inscriptions on the walls. The symbols began to rearrange themselves, revealing a sequence of images that told a story of a civilization lost. To time.it was a turning point. We had crossed a threshold, not just in our expedition, but in our understanding of one another. We were no longer a team divided by personal ambitions. We were a group bound by a shared destiny, facing the unknown together, the consequences of our decision to activate the device were immediate and profound. As the last echoes of energy dissipated, the air hung thick with anticipation, and the images projected by the device began to shift, revealing the civilization's history. Yet, instead of enlightenment, a deep sense of dread settled over us. The images depicted not only the rise of a great society, but also its catastrophic downfall, marked by chaos and destruction. Elena, who had once been so enthralled by the potential of our discovery, now stood frozen, horror etched across her face. The visions spoke of a civilization that had played with forces beyond their comprehension, ultimately leading to their own annihilation. I watched as the realization hit her the very knowledge she sought could lead to our demise. Marcus, vindicated in his fears, turned to us, his voice steady. This is what I was trying to warn you about. We've awakened something that should have remained buried. His words ignited a wave of panic, and I could see the fear in Alex's eyes, once filled with ambition. The camaraderie we had built began to fray once more. As the room darkened, the device flickered ominously, and a low echoed through the chamber. We felt the ground tremble beneath us, and the walls seemed to pulse as if the structure itself was alive. The energy we had unleashed was volatile, and it became clear that our actions had consequences we were ill prepared to face. In the following hours, our expedition devolved into chaos. Paranoia took hold as we questioned each other's intentions. Trust eroded, and the very fabric of our team began to unravel. We were no longer united in purpose. We were fractured and vulnerable, each of us grappling with the weight of our choices. The consequences of our curiosity and ambition had set us on a path toward an uncertain and potentially catastrophic fate. In the aftermath of the chaotic revelations, our team found itself at a crossroads. The ancient device, once a source of excitement, had become a symbol of our collective failure. The air was thick with tension and fear, but beneath it lay an unyielding desire to overcome our circumstances. As we regrouped, I sensed a shift in the dynamics among us. The urgency to confront our fears had never been greater. Elena, initially consumed by her obsession with the civilization's secrets, began to see the bigger picture. "We've let our ambitions blind us," she confessed one evening, her voice trembling with emotion. "We need to work together to understand what we've awakened and find a way to contain it." Her vulnerability resonated with the rest of us, and slowly, it sparked a sense of unity. I took the lead in rallying the group. "We must face this challenge together, not as individuals driven by personal goals, but as a cohesive team. We need to identify our strengths and weaknesses and devise a plan." The atmosphere shifted from despair to determination. We began to share our skills more openly, blending our expertise to create a cohesive strategy. Marcus, once the skeptic, stepped up with a wealth of historical knowledge. He suggested we analyze the inscriptions we had uncovered, believing they might contain warnings or instructions. Alex, who had struggled with feelings of inadequacy, finally found his voice. "I can help with the translations," he said, his confidence bolstered by Elena's support. As we pooled our knowledge, the tension of the previous days began to dissipate. We worked late into the night, piecing together fragments of the civilization's story. Our laughter began to return, and a spirit of collaboration emerged. We realized that while we had faced adversity, it was through our shared struggles that we could grow stronger. Each member of our team began to evolve. Elena transformed her obsession into a disciplined focus, channeling her passion into research. Marcus's initial cynicism morphed into a protective instinct, driving him to ensure our safety. Alex, once overshadowed by his peers, emerged as a vital contributor, gaining the respect he had long sought. Through this journey, we learned that overcoming our challenges was not just about uncovering the secrets of the past. It was about forging bonds that would sustain us in the face of uncertainty. We were no longer just archaeologists. We were a family, united by our desire to understand the unknown and to protect one another. With our newfound unity, we set to work on our plan. The device had shown us glimpses of a civilization that had harnessed great power, but had ultimately succumbed to its own hubris. Now it was our responsibility to ensure we did not repeat their mistakes. The stakes were higher than ever, and we understood that our survival depended on our ability to act decisively. We gathered in the central chamber, illuminated by the faint glow of the device. "We need to contain this energy," I began, addressing the team. "If we can determine how the ancient civilization managed to control it, we might be able to replicate their methods." Each member contributed ideas, drawing on their unique perspectives and expertise. It was invigorating to see how far we had come since our initial conflicts Elena dove into the inscriptions with renewed fervor, translating phrases that hinted at rituals and procedures for harnessing the energy. "There's a pattern," she said excitedly, pointing to a series of symbols. "They reference a sacred balance. Perhaps there's a way to stabilize the device." Her insights fueled our hope, and I could see the spark of determination in her eyes. Meanwhile, Marcus worked on securing the chamber, reinforcing the structure to withstand any potential backlash from the device. "We need to create a safe perimeter," he said, drawing blueprints on the floor. His practical knowledge became invaluable, and the team rallied around his ideas, eager to contribute to the preparations. Alex, emboldened by his previous contributions, took charge of monitoring the device's energy levels. "If we can track the fluctuations, we'll know when it's becoming unstable," he proposed. His enthusiasm was infectious, and I could see him stepping into a leadership role, transforming into a key player in our strategy. As we outlined our approach, the atmosphere shifted from one of fear to one of purpose. We divided tasks, each taking ownership of our respective roles. We set up a makeshift command center in the chamber, using laptops and equipment to analyze data in real time. With adrenaline coursing through our veins, we prepared for the culmination of our efforts. We knew the risks, but we also understood that we had grown stronger together. As night fell and the storm outside howled, we felt an unwavering sense of resolve. This was our moment to confront the unknown, to harness the power of the past, and ensure that the mistakes of the ancient civilization would not be repeated. We were ready. As the storm raged outside, the atmosphere inside the chamber crackled with electricity. We stood poised on the brink of discovery, each of us aware that the next steps could either secure our safety or unleash chaos. With the device humming ominously, we gathered in a circle, our breaths synchronized, ready to execute our plan. Elena took a deep breath, her voice steady as she began to recite the translated inscriptions. "We must invoke the sacred balance," she said, her eyes locked onto the device. "It's about harmonizing the energies within." The words flowed from her lips like an incantation, and as she spoke, the device responded, its glow intensifying. Alex monitored the energy levels, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "The readings are spiking. We need to stabilize it now." Panic seeped into his voice, but I could see the determination in his eyes as he focused on the task at hand. I felt a surge of pride. He had come so far, transforming from a hesitant intern to a crucial member of our team. I stepped beside Elena, placing my hand on the device. "We must all focus our energy together," I urged the team. "Channel your intentions. We need to harmonize with it." The room fell silent as each of us closed our eyes, tapping into our collective strength. The storm outside intensified, a howling reminder of the chaos that lurked just beyond our sanctuary. As we concentrated, the device pulsed with rhythm, responding to our unified will. Suddenly, a blinding light erupted from its core, illuminating every corner of the chamber. The walls vibrated, and I felt the very foundation of the structure tremble beneath us. "Hold steady," I shouted, struggling to maintain my balance. Then, in a moment of clarity, I realized that we were not merely controlling the device. We were becoming a part of it. Images flashed before my eyes, visions of the ancient civilization, their triumphs and failures, their wisdom and folly. It was as if their history was merging with our own, imparting lessons learned through millennia. But just as quickly as the moment of understanding came, the energy surged violently, threatening to break free from our grasp. "It's too much," Marcus yelled, his voice strained. "We need to contain it." The room darkened, and I felt despair creeping in as the device's power threatened to overwhelm us. In that critical moment, we remembered our purpose. Together, I shouted, rallying the team once more. We focused our minds and hearts, channeling every ounce of our strength into a single thought to protect one another and the knowledge we had uncovered. The energy swirled around us, and as we locked arms, the intensity peaked, creating a protective barrier. The light exploded outward, then imploded, collapsing into itself. In an instant, the chaos was replaced by silence. The chamber, once filled with tension, now pulls gently, the device humming softly as it settled into a stable rhythm. We had done it. We had contained the energy and honored the civilization's legacy. The victory was ours, but the journey was far from over. In the aftermath of our harrowing experience, we emerged transformed, not just as archaeologists, but as a resilient team bound by shared trials. The ancient civilization's legacy taught us invaluable lessons about humility, cooperation, and the perils of unchecked ambition. We sealed the chamber, vowing to protect its secrets, understanding that true knowledge comes with responsibility. As we returned to civilization, we carried not only artifacts, but a profound understanding of our place in the continuum of history. The experience deepened our respect for the past and ignited a passion for future explorations, forever altering our destinies. Months later, our findings reshaped the field of archaeology. We published our research, detailing not only the artifacts, but the powerful lessons learned from the ancient civilization. Elena became a renowned historian, dedicating her career to educating others about the balance between knowledge and responsibility. Alex emerged as a leading figure in archaeological technology, ensuring safety in future excavations. Marcus found fulfillment in mentoring young archaeologists, instilling in them the values of caution and respect for the past. Together, we forged new paths in our disciplines, forever connected by the journey we undertook in the heart of Siberia. As we reflect on our journey, let us remember the importance of collaboration, humility, and respect for the past. The world is filled with mysteries waiting to be uncovered, but with each discovery comes a responsibility to protect and learn from it. We invite you to join the conversation about the significance of archaeology in understanding our shared history and the lessons it holds for our future. Engage with your local communities, support archaeological initiatives, and advocate for responsible exploration. Together, we can ensure that the treasures of our past inspire future generations to learn, grow, and thrive.